Hey guys, Dale Barks here. My brother Shane's running the camera. We've been trapping for a couple of weeks here, got a few sets out, but we're running low on scents. So we're going to mix up some Marten and Fisher lure, and we figured we'd do a video showing how we do it anyway up here. This has worked for us for the last few years, and I mean every year it's a slightly different recipe. So anyway, I figure we'll give you an illustration of what we do. First thing we use is some no-name Vaseline. You can use actual name Vaseline if you're a fancy trapper, but this is a little cheaper. We've let it sit on the stove or by the stove for a few minutes here so it's nice and soft. Makes mixing a little bit easier. Make sure it's non-scented. I've found the other day you can get coconut butter oil scented, and that stuff's nasty. Don't bother with that. So the first step, and you've got your Vaseline and skunk oil. Now a lot of the time this is all we'll use. We'll just put some skunk oil in with the Vaseline, and that's all we use. The Vaseline wiped on a stick outside the box, the trap, will keep it from freezing through the winter and keep the scent there for weeks. Since the skunk oil is super strong and we're in the cabin because it's cold and dark outside, I'm going to add that last. Got a little aniseed extract or oil of anise. Anise, however you pronounce it. Either one will work. This one's cheap baking stuff and it doesn't hold the scent as long. This is pure oil and it's really nice stuff. So just put a few drops in there, not a whole lot. You don't want to add too much liquid to your Vaseline or you end up with permanent soup. It'll never solidify again. Just mix that in. And yeah, that's already pretty good. And right there, I mean, that alone will bring in a lot of the weasel family. Well, weasels especially. They love that scent. A lot of the time we'll put that aniseed just on a Q-tip and throw it in the back of a box. But yeah, that's good and strong. So that's a good base right there. Next thing we're going to use, got some fish oil. And that stuff that's pretty ripe. So again, not too much of it because you need that Vaseline to be able to solidify on the branch. But mix it in a bit again. And this will work especially well for mink and otter. But everything really does like fish, so it doesn't really matter what you're trying for. It's a good mix. Next step, now this is going to be specifically Marten and Fisher lure. We do have some mink scent glands here, but that's going to be on a different day. We don't need any mink scent right now. What we do need is some of our Fisher scent. Now this is Fisher scent glands and Fisher feces from a couple of years. We've just collected them. If you're just starting out, you don't have any of these glands. I mean, just some skunk scent, some aniseed oil. That's all you need, and that'll get you your scent glands. But don't inhale that stuff. So this is Fisher. Oh, lovely. Not lovely, actually. That stuff is nasty. But there. That's our Fisher. Now, Fisher and Marten, the boxes or the sets are similar enough. A lot of the time we've just got crossover where you catch a Fisher and a Marten cubby, Marten and a Fisher cubby, that we're just going to mix the scent glands for both species together. Yep, we've already got that scent gland stuff coming through. So this, again, it's in an aniseed oil bottle, but it's actually our Marten glands. And that stuff's nice, much nicer than our Fisher. I think we've actually just got pure scent glands in this one. Something I did not think of that may be good to note is that when you do this, you are adding to an already mostly full jar of Vaseline. So I'm getting pretty close to the top already. You may actually want to scoop some out ahead of time, save it for a different batch. But hindsight is 20/20, and I did not think of that. So we got that right there. Right now we've got scent glands from Marten, scent glands from Fisher, some fish oil, and some aniseed. The skunk's gonna go in. I gotta grab some beaver casters. I forgot to grab them before I started. And I'm back with our casters. These are really dry. They've been sitting hanging by the window in the stove for 2 or 3 years now. That's just fine. They'll be good. We've also got a jar of castor oil. Really ripe. Everything basically in the Boreal forest, all the carnivores love beavers. So if you can get any beaver sent in to your mix, that's going to be a good thing. Even if they're not natural predators. I mean, I don't know of a lot of marten that kill beavers, but it sure works well in the scents. So a little bit of oil. Again, these casters have been sitting in this jar under the stove for 2.5 or 3 years, so they're pretty ripe, which is what you want. Again, we're going to mix that in. And we've got a good mix of smells here. I know you can't smell them, but you can smell that castor pretty powerfully, but it doesn't drown out the aniseed or any of the glands. So we're going to add a little bit of castor pieces. See if I can get most of that in there and not on the floor. And this is, it adds a different scent to it than the oil, the castor oil did. I don't know why, but it smells more like black licorice. It's a pretty good smell, actually. Get some of that in. And as a plus, it's not liquid, so it's helping solidify this stuff up a bit. Whew. And that stuff smells good. It smells really good. And then, that's the last of it, short of the skunk. So we're going to put some of this skunk in now. And it doesn't take a whole lot in this, because again, I'll put that on while I talk. This skunk is super powerful. It's pure skunk extract, and oh boy, that's strong. So you don't want to put too much of it in, or you drown out all your other scents that you've got in. So put a dollop of it. Screw that back on tight. Be very careful not to spill on your cabin floor. If you're married, probably do not do this in your cabin at all, or you may not be married very long. Not talking from experience here. And mix her in. We're not going to want to use this stick for kindling anymore. Get right to the bottom, and I'm going to give it a sniff. That is some really good stuff. So what we've got in here is Vaseline. We've got aniseed oil, fish oil, skunk oil, well, skunk scent gland oil, some beaver castor oil, some dried beaver casters grated in, Fisher scent glands, and Marten scent glands, all mixed together. And we'll set this outside. It'll solidify. It'll be ready to go in the morning and catch us some fur. And if you happen to be watching this and you're in Saskatchewan, all of this, well, except for the glands that we collected, the skunk, the aniseed, the fish oil, the Vaseline, all of this is available at K&J Northern Fur Stretchers in Nipawin. Give them a call, stop by. They've got great prices. That's where we got all of this stuff, and it's nice and easy to get for us too, close to home. So yeah, definitely a good place to buy all your trapping supplies that you need. Thanks for watching, and if you use this, hopefully it catches you some fur. Have a good one. Should note, I do tend to go a little crazy sometimes with the scents we're adding in. All you really need is some Vaseline for your base and some skunk oil, and ideally some aniseed oil, but you don't even need that. Just skunk, Vaseline, and some anise if you've got it. $8 for this, $2 for this, $2 or $3 for that. It'll do you all winter long.